Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and 70 miles of the Gaming Drag today. I'm coming back at you with another Let's Play episode of Conway. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. No, on the contrary, I'd have my break right now. But the whole thing with the first mate who seems to have it in for me. I'm just trying to find some way to turn his opinion of me around. Somehow. Rajeeyah reaches for another bottle as she finishes jotting down what she needed to note. I asked Samuel what kind of work I could do. You know, show the officer that I can pull my weight. Really feels like it's an impossible task, though. A few seconds pass before she answers. It's not easy to carry the weight of the responsibility of the first mate on your shoulders. And you think being thrown off this goddamn ship because of his stubbornness is? For a moment, your emotions overtake you. Her words about it being a tough situation for Arthur just ticking you off the wrong way. All this shit because he can't listen to reason. I guess the grunts aren't worth the effort to actually listen to or consider their point of view when I'm so easily discarded. Sorry. I understand your frustration. With the bowls done, you move on to the next item to clean. A saw that, you assume, must have seen too many grim sights. Although, come to think of it, you haven't come across any poor chap on the ship who seems to have undergone an amputation. Perhaps it's less common than you've heard. Or they just let go at the earliest convenience. Like you. Your little mental excursion is enough for the sway of a stronger wave to catch you off guard. Careful! You lose your balance and scramble, leaving a trail of claw marks along the wall before you manage to catch your weight. The saw clatters across the floor, and when you regain your footing, you meet Rajeeyah's startled eyes. Are you alright? I'm sorry. Straightening up, you adjust your trouser. Didn't I mention that you should try not to break them? I'm sorry, Doctor. I was distracted for a moment. You bend down to pick the instrument up off the floor. Are you not feeling well? It's fine, Doctor. There's nothing wrong with me. Just distracted. If you say so. Rajeeyah turns around hesitantly to pull the next bottle out of the cabinet. What's in that one? If you don't mind me asking, just tell me if I'm slowing you down too much. I'm just curious, that's all. As long as it doesn't distract you further. You can see her muzzle curl up into a smile as she pulls out several bottles that seem to be the same make. Although, I would rather have someone who is inquisitive than someone who would rather be anywhere else. It's wormwood wine. Oh, Jesus Christ. 4 bottles in total, but one of them is empty. That means I have to make a note to pick up a replacement bottle when I'm restocking. What's it good for? Or do we just get to choose what kind of alcohol we get when we're injured? Because this sickbed is beginning to sound more and more like the most luxurious place on the ship, since you handed Samuel some rum. This isn't meant to numb the pain, although it does a good job of that just the same in large enough quantities. In the instance of wormwood wine, it serves to remedy intestinal worms. You grimace at the very thought of it. Worms? In my gut? The long, squiggly kind? The very same. Maybe that's something I'd rather avoid, no matter how good this wine may be. I would recommend it. They do have to come out somehow. Nope, stop, please. Do not continue that sentence. I'm quite happy not thinking about it. One second, y'all. Though... if the bottle is empty, then someone must have needed it. You can't help but wonder who it could be. You ask her the wormwood? Ask her. If this last bottle is empty, then someone must have needed it. Who was it? Didn't you say you just didn't want me to talk about it? Curiosity killed the cat. No, I meant the exact effects, which we don't need to illustrate in great detail. Anyway, you're in no position to ask for that information, nor would I want to violate the privacy of the crew members. Ah, gotcha. Don't ask her. Okay. Instead of prying into other people's problems, you direct your question to the medicine itself. Do you know much about all this medicine you have here? Well, I mean, of course you do. That came out awkwardly. What I mean is, do you know about them in detail? The history, why they work, and so on? Or is it just a situation where you know it's supposed to help and that's good enough? An inquisitive mind in that head of yours, I see. She turns to you and holds out her paw to give you one of the bottles. You take the bottle and run your thumb over the label as you read it. I do, to a certain extent. With wormwood, for example, I know it's been used for countless years, hundreds if not thousands. I have heard that it has been used in the past to help with childbirth, but I guess the use against intestinal worms is the one that crystallized over time, while the former fell by the wayside. Or who knows, maybe it really does have a valuable use in childbirth. I wouldn't have too many opportunities on this ship to know either way. She chuckles, and when she takes the bottle back, you hold on for a split second too long, afraid it might fall. Things go quiet for a while as you both focus on your tasks. After you finish with larger items, you bring the leather bag over and open it onto the table, moving some of the scattered paper to make room for it. While the items themselves are usually quicker to clean, you have to be more careful not to accidentally cut yourself on a stray scalpel or some other sharp edge you weren't expecting. Rajeeyah? Arthur's voice breaks the silence from the other side of the door, slightly muffled, but he's still easily audible. You look up from what you're doing and catch Rajeeyah's eyes before turning to the door. Let him in if you would. You hesitate before opening the door, finding Arthur's surprised expression greeting you. Please come in, Mr. Hudson. He takes a moment to collect himself, but walks past you into the now cramped room. He looks down at you over his shoulder before turning to face Rajeeyah. What can I help you with? What is he doing here? Rajeeyah glances at you before answering. Assisting me. Why was I not notified? He came in here on his own volition during his spare time. As you are no doubt aware, your watch is off duty at the moment. As far as I am aware, he would not be required to report what he does in his free time. You know that I am well aware of that. However, given the recruit's current status, it should come as no surprise that the crew needs to be aware of what he is doing to avoid any further incidents. I have been given no such directive. Rest assured, however, all the recruit has been assigned with are cleaning duties. Though I apologize for the mistake and hope that you will consider this as my reporting the recruit's assignment. Now, what can I help you with? After all this time, I would have expected you to have a better understanding of how the ship is run. Sir, with all due respect, the recruit has been assigned to clean up. I do not see how that would in any way be cause for concern or require an immediate report. You can see the officer's jaw tighten before his response. Do you really see no problem in allowing him access to the surgeon's cabin and the ship's medical supplies, Miss Al-Maghribi? In fact, I do not see the problem, officer. Cleaning, Arthur. He's busy cleaning. Arthur closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. He reaches for his cuff and straightens it. Miss Al-Maghribi, I would suggest that you hold your tongue and try not to undermine my authority, but be that as it may, his presence makes things easier. How so? I was looking for you to oversee the recruit's punishment. Your breath catches in your throat and you shoot Rajeeyah an anxious glance. Punishment? For what? You blurt out, unable to keep quiet anymore. You know well enough how punishments are said to be carried out on sailing ships. You should be well aware of the reasons, recruit. Punishment for what, Mr. Hudson? If I may be permitted the question, as the surgeon who is to oversee the procedure. Another deep sigh escapes the horse's nostrils, this time with a clearer hint of annoyance in it. Punishment for failing to perform his duties. Rajeeyah was about to speak, but Arthur cut her off. Miss Al-Maghribi, Rajeeyah, failure to perform his duties and endangering the crew. Leave the room, recruit. I'll pick you up outside as soon as I'm done talking to the doctor. He gives the order in a stern enough tone that you only barely dared to ask for clarification. In front of the door? Where else? As if you weren't present for the past few seconds, the next thing you remember is finding yourself outside the room, closing the door behind you. Your knees feel weak as the door closes behind you and you sink against the wall. Slowly you slide down to sit on the floor and let your head sink into your palms. From bad to terrible, yet somehow even worse. What would it be? Flogging? Being locked up somewhere? He might as well throw you overboard at this point. If only you had someone here to help you. Family? Friends? But it's just you. I expected more respect from you, Rajeeyah. The officer's voice echoes from inside, making it through the wooden wall you are leaning against. Mr. Hudson, what? You may drop the formalities when we're speaking in private. You just asked for more respect. Why are you asking to punish him, Mr. Hudson? Did I not make myself clear? You let your head dip back against the wood, straining to hear their conversation better. You ordered his dismissal from the ship at the next port. Is that not punishment enough? He jeopardized the ship's and the crew's safety. He is exhausted. So are the others, because of his mistake. I am not talking about his physical condition, Mr. Hudson. But he needs to toughen up if he wants to make it as a sailor. He is exhausted because of you. Rajeeyah, I did not come to you today to criticize my command. My criticism is not directed at the officer, Mr. Hudson, but at you as my friend, Arthur. I had heard what the man said about you, but now that I see it firsthand, I really must question your thinking behind it. You dismiss him from the ship, and now you come to me to order an even more severe punishment for him? He fell asleep on his watch and led the ship right into a storm with barely any warning. Do I really need to repeat myself? He's been aboard for nearly 2 weeks and already has a longer record than most of the veterans in the crew. Do you not understand it, Rajeeyah? There are things that keep the ship from falling apart. I'm not talking about the nails and the planks. It is the dedication and discipline of the men. Their sweat and blood that keeps these men alive. Nothing else. And I will not accept anyone who puts my men in danger. There's a moment of silence between the two, but it's not difficult to imagine Arthur's glare. Rajeeyah finally breaks the silence, soft but firm. Arthur, and now you want to whip him too? This is a lesson he must learn, he retorts sharply. A harsh lesson, I will grant you, but one he must learn nonetheless. Arthur, learn what? That an esteemed officer can be so blinded by his own past so as to force him to repeat the same mistakes he made, only because he is still unable to accept the past? Raj! He is being driven to exhaustion. By you. He was never going to be a danger to anyone on the ship, but you've made him one by pushing him to the point where he's becoming a liability. This is not the way for him to learn anything, least of all how to perform his duties safely. Raj. Arthur, do you want him to kill someone? Because by your own admission, you almost did. Rajeeyah, I respect your right to disagree with me any day, but don't you dare put my lucidity into question. Suggestions like that are dangerously close to being mutinous, and you know what we cannot tolerate, even a trace of that. So I would strongly advise you to think twice about what you are implying. And then what? Are you going to flog me too? Is that how you want to solve it? Another pause in their conversation. You turn your head to press your ear against the wooden surface. But try as you might, you cannot hear anything else. Complete silence. Only broken when the door suddenly opens and you immediately pull your head away from the wall. Arthur emerges without sparing you a single glance. In an instant, he turns the corner and briskly disappears up the stairs. Sir? You want to slap yourself for speaking up, but to your relief, he doesn't appear to be paying you any attention. Once he's out of sight on the deck above, you push yourself to your feet and approach the door with cautious steps. Afraid to peek past the barrier of the wall, you will yourself to do it and come face to face with Rajeeyah. Her expression relaxes as she notices you, and she slowly sits down on the bed behind her. Where's he going? I assume up to his cabin to reflect, hopefully. I don't have to follow him, do I? She shakes her head. You go back into the cabin and softly let the door slide into its lock. I suppose I owe you my thanks for saving me from a few scars across my back. Despite your exchange, Rajeeyah appears distant, not focusing on your words. Though, I probably should... I'm sorry? I should follow him. She jumps up from the bed and rushes out the door. Oh, damn it! Is that it? Really? Alright, let's see... Damn. Okay. Much for playing. This game is still in active development. If you want to support us, then you can do over on Patreon. We've hit our recent stretch goal and implemented the scene replays. Thank you everyone who made it possible. We really appreciate it, as every little bit helps you expand our means of what we can do with this VN. Getting on board more help when needed for areas like additional writing, potentially some coding or animation help, or licensing things like sounds and music. There are plenty of areas that perhaps aren't strictly necessary, but rather nice to have, and your support would go a long way in making it possible to cover those areas that I simply can't. Or, another way to help the game out would be to leave us a 5-star rating on itch. It helps get the game in front of more people who might be interested in giving it a whirl. And of course, a big thank you to those of you who already do support us. This genuinely wouldn't be possible without the generous support of all of them. They're the best. This menu is just meant to stop people who are skipping through from being booted right in the main menu. If you want to save, then please scroll back into the story and save your progress. Alright, I wonder how much content there actually is, y'all. Anyone in the comments can tell me what the other character routes look like right now. I'd really appreciate that. So, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silver. Thank you going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 2 gold tier patrons, Zeke and Toby. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for more content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!